Eli was just a student, nothing special. He wasn't a soldier, a spy, or a hero. He was 19 years old and trying to survive his first year of college on Earth's rebuilt global university campus in the city of New Berlin. His major? Criminology. Not because he wanted to chase criminals, but because he liked solving puzzles and finding truth in places others ignored. His latest assignment was simple. Too simple, really. Pick one unsolved alien-related crime from the archives and write a report on how you would solve it. Eli yawned. Boring, until he opened the wrong file. He had typed in the archive code wrong by a single digit. That mistake led him to a case labeled Classified, Level 9, not for student access. But the file still opened. He thought it was a glitch. Inside the file was a strange report written partly in human language, partly in alien glyphs. The photos were blurred, but something about them felt off. There was a body, or what they thought was a body. Blue skin. Faint glowing veins, female, humanoid. The report said she was found in the ruins of a collapsed alien outpost during the last war, believed to be dead. No vital signs, no movement. She was stored in cold containment and forgotten, but here's the strange part. The most recent log entry was from 2 days ago. It said, Specimen 047 twitching observed at 0231 Earth time. Possible signs of neural activity. Recheck suspended due to staff shortage. Why would a dead alien girl twitch in cold storage after 5 years? Eli didn't know why, but he felt something tighten in his chest. This didn't feel like an ordinary case. Something was wrong. Really wrong. He copied the file onto his device, just to look into it more, and closed the archive. But within seconds, the lights in the university lab flickered. His screen went dark. A warning appeared. Unauthorized access detected. Systems lockdown initiated. Panicked, Eli shut his device and slipped it into his backpack. He didn't sleep that night. Something about the alien girl wouldn't leave his mind. The case called to him like a whisper in his brain. By the next morning, his criminology professor didn't show up. Instead, a woman in a black uniform arrived. She wasn't military, she wasn't police. She didn't smile. We've had a data breach, she told the class calmly. If anyone accessed restricted files by mistake or curiosity, it is important. You report it now. No punishments. Just tell us. Eli didn't speak. That evening, he did something foolish. He went to the research facility mentioned in the report. It was far outside the city, abandoned after the war. No guards. Just rusted metal gates and warning signs. Eli climbed over anyway. Inside, the air was freezing. He followed the directions from the file until he reached the cryogenic vault. The door was half open. Power flickered from backup systems. There she was, lying inside a cracked pod. The alien girl. She didn't look dead. Her skin was pale blue, smooth like polished glass. Her chest was barely rising and falling. Her face was young. Scared. Her eyes were closed, but her fingers twitched slightly, like she was dreaming. Eli's heart pounded. He stepped closer. Suddenly, her eyes opened. They glowed a soft, bright silver, and locked on his face. She didn't scream. She didn't move. She just stared, like she had been waiting. Then she whispered something in a broken, fragile voice. Human. Eli backed away, but her hand reached toward him weakly, fingers trembling. He should have run. He should have called someone. But he didn't. Instead, he reached out and touched her hand. The second he did, the pod lit up with pulsing blue light. The walls shook. A siren blared deep inside the building. DNA imprint confirmed, a voice said from above. Reawakening. Protocol complete. Initiating bonding sequence. Eli froze. What bonding? The alien girl's hand tightened around his. A strange warmth rushed through his body, like an invisible thread had tied them together. Her breathing grew stronger. Her body began to glow faintly, and then she whispered again, this time with more strength. You accepted the pact. I didn't agree to anything. Eli shouted, but it was too late. Above them, a symbol appeared on the screen. Two figures entwined in a spiral, one human, one alien, and at that moment, far above Earth, in a hidden part of the galaxy, something ancient woke up. Something that had been watching this moment for years. The pact was sealed, and the war had begun. Eli didn't know what was happening. The alien girl was holding his hand like her life depended on it. Her silver eyes shimmered with something strange, something between fear and relief. I didn't agree to a pact, he repeated, pulling back, but her fingers stayed locked around his. She was warmer now, breathing faster. You touched me, she said, her voice soft but clearer. You chose. No, Eli stopped himself. The pod behind her had shut. Lights blinked around them. Symbols lit up that he couldn't read. Some part of the lab had reactivated. He had triggered something ancient, something he didn't understand. Then she began to tremble, and her knees buckled. Eli caught her before she fell. She was light, almost too light, like she hadn't eaten in weeks. He gently sat her down against the side of the pod. Her long white hair slipped down her back like a sheet of silk. What's your name? He asked carefully. She blinked slowly. Name not used. I am called Karaya. Her eyes slowly scanned the room, full of old equipment and frozen dust. This place still stands? Eli nodded. It was closed years ago. You were in stasis. Karaya looked confused. Then how long? Was I asleep? 5 years, maybe more. She looked away, and something like pain crossed her face. My people, they left me here. Why? She didn't answer. Instead, she leaned forward slightly and placed her hand gently over her abdomen. Her eyes closed, and her glow dimmed. Eli's voice lowered. Are you hurt? No, but I am not whole. She looked at him again. This bond. It restored. May. He didn't like how she said that. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed through the corridor. Heavy boots. Multiple people. Eli's stomach twisted. They found us, he whispered. Karaya's eyes widened. You must run. They cannot take me again. I'm not leaving you. He looked around and spotted a service tunnel near the back of the room. He had seen it on the map. Maybe it led outside. Can you walk? Karaya nodded slowly. If you help me. Eli helped her to her feet. She was shaky, but stronger than before. He guided her toward the tunnel, crouching low. Behind them, the main door to the vault slammed open. Freeze! A voice shouted. Step away from the specimen. Eli and Karaya dove into the tunnel just in time. A stun blast slammed into the wall behind them, sending sparks flying. They ran. The tunnel was long and cold, filled with broken cables and dust. But it led out to the forest behind the facility. By the time they burst into the trees, night had already fallen. Eli stopped to catch his breath, panting hard. Karaya leaned on him, shaking. You're okay, he said, trying to calm her. You're safe. We'll find somewhere. But Karaya grabbed his arm, her expression serious. You don't understand. That touched the pact. It is real. Eli's chest tightened. What do you mean? Karaya slowly took his hand and placed it over her heart. He could feel the heat of her skin, the pulse beneath it, strange but steady. You are now bound to me, she said. Not just by contact. By life, you saved me, and now, part of you lives in me. Eli pulled back. What does that even mean? Karaya looked at the stars above the trees. The war that started long ago, it was not over territory, it was about survival. My kind created the pact long ago, to bond with other species. But humans were off limits, forbidden. Why? Because it always leads to something new. Something no one can control. Eli's heart was racing now. What exactly happens after a pact? Keria looked down, and this time, her hand rested on her lower belly again. You gave me life, she whispered. And now I carry it. Eli went pale. Wait, you mean already? She nodded slowly. The process is not like yours. It begins with the bond. It grows with time, what you call. Pregnancy has already started. He took a step back, eyes wide. But we didn't, how is that even possible? Karaya's glow pulsed faintly. Our biology is different. Once connected, your energy entered me. It's not about flesh, it's about intent. Touching me with care, choosing to help me. It was enough. Eli stood there, stunned, not sure if he should scream, run, or just sit down and cry. Somewhere in the distance, helicopters cut across the sky. Sweeping over the trees, Karaya's voice dropped low. Now they will never stop hunting us. Eli swallowed hard. His criminology homework had turned into a crime against alien law. And now, a war he never asked for had started, and he was no longer alone. Eli led Karaya through the dark forest. The only light came from her glowing skin, soft and silver, like moonlight wrapped around her body. Every few steps she winced, holding her stomach not from pain, but from something growing inside. Her. Eli couldn't stop glancing at her. She looked so calm, so focused, but he wasn't. What do we do now? He asked as they reached a hill overlooking the lights of the outer city. Karaya looked down toward the buildings. We hide. For now. You don't look like someone who just escaped death, he muttered. She tilted her head. We don't show fear the same way you do. Eli didn't answer. His mind was spinning, pregnant, with his child. From a single touch, it didn't make sense, none of this did. And yet, deep down, something told him it was true. He could feel it too, a strange connection to her. Not just in his thoughts, but something warm inside his chest, as if they were tied together. I have a place we can go, he said after a moment. It's not far. My uncle has a cabin, no tech. No sensors, no one goes there. Karaya nodded. Then we must move. They will search everywhere. They traveled through the night, staying low. Drones buzzed above the trees now and then. But Eli knew these woods. He avoided the sensors, stuck to the shadows, and finally, just before sunrise, they reached the old hunting cabin. The place was falling apart, wood rotting. Zoar hanging crooked, but it was safe. Eli helped Karaya inside and found a blanket. She sat on the floor, leaning against the wall, finally letting herself rest. I don't understand something, Eli said quietly, pacing. Why me? You said the pact doesn't happen unless someone accepts it. But I didn't know what I was doing. Karaya looked at him, her glowing eyes half closed. You chose to help me, with kindness. Without wanting something in return, that was enough. That sounds like a really broken system, he replied. Karaya smiled slightly, for the first time, perhaps. But it is the only way we survived during the last war. What war? Eli asked, sitting down. You said it wasn't about territory. She nodded. Long ago, my people were hunted by a race known as the Traskari. We were losing. So we built the pact, an ancient genetic code that could bind us with another species, make us stronger together. But it didn't work. Karaya looked down. It worked, too well. Our first bonded partners became more than just allies. Our offspring were powerful, unstable, they frightened both sides. So the pact was banned, especially with humans. Eli stared at her, stunned. So if this gets out, they won't just come for me, she said softly. They will come for you, and for the child. He fell silent. The room was cold. And her words made it colder. Suddenly, Karaya gasped. Her body tensed. Eli jumped to her side. What's wrong? Her skin flickered, like her glow was weakening. She held her belly with both hands. The bond, It's not stable. It needs time. I need your presence. My what? Karaya reached out, placing her hand over his heart. Just stay. Near me, your energy calms it, balances the growth. Eli didn't move away this time. He sat beside her. The second he did, her breathing slowed, and her glow brightened again. He watched her for a long moment, confused, afraid, but also strangely calm. She was alien, yes, but there was something deeply human about her emotions. Her pain, her need to be protected. Suddenly, a loud clang came from outside. Eli stood up fast, peeking through the cracked wooden window. A dark, hovering vehicle had landed just beyond the trees. Black uniforms stepped out, same as the woman from his class, silent, serious, and armed. They found us, he whispered. Karaya didn't panic. She stood slowly, stronger now. I'll distract them, Eli said quickly. You escaped through the back, but she shook her head. They'll track me. My glow, it marks me. Eli looked around the small cabin, then opened the trapdoor hidden under the floor. He'd used it as a kid to store gear. Now it would be their only chance. Get in. Karaya hesitated, then nodded. Eli helped her down just as boots crunched through the dry leaves outside. He dropped the blanket over the door, kicked dirt over the hatch, and stepped away just in time. Door burst open. 3 figures in black entered. One of them was the same cold-eyed woman from the university. She looked at Eli, calm but sharp. You've seen something, she said. I went for a walk, Eli replied, voice steady. Just needed to clear my head. One of the agents scanned the room. No heat signatures detected. He's clean. But the woman kept staring at him. Eli didn't blink. She leaned forward slightly. If you ever see something strange, student, anything unnatural, report it, for your own safety. Eli nodded slowly. Sure, I'll let you know. They left without another word. As the vehicle lifted and vanished into the sky, Eli waited several minutes before opening the trapdoor. Karaya was still there, curled up in the dark, her silver eyes watching him. They're gone, he whispered. She nodded once, then leaned back in the dark corner. You are already changing, she said. Eli looked confused. What do you mean? You lied to protect me, she said softly. You're not just a student anymore. And she was right. He wasn't. Eli couldn't sleep that night. He sat by the cabin window, watching the trees sway in the wind. Every sound made him flinch. Karaya was resting below in the small hidden room. Her glow had faded to almost nothing. Now, as if she were saving her strength, he had lied to a government agent, protected an alien fugitive, helped her escape. And now, she was pregnant with his child. The thought made his chest tighten. Not with fear, but with weight. A heavy kind of responsibility. He got up quietly and opened the trapdoor. Karaya was awake, sitting with her knees drawn up, arms wrapped around them. She looked small in the cramped space, but calm. I brought you something, Eli said softly. He handed her a protein bar, a water bottle, and one of his old jackets. She looked at the items like they were treasures. Thank you, she whispered. You okay? He asked. Karaya nodded, unwrapping the bar slowly. Better now. The bond is stabilizing. I can feel the life. It's steady. Eli sat beside her. How fast will it grow? I don't know, she admitted. This has never happened with a human before. That scared him. They were in completely unknown territory. No science, no rules, no one to ask for help. Is it dangerous? He asked. She looked at him. The child? No, but those who fear it will be. Eli understood. The government wouldn't let this go. They had seen what she was. They would guess what she carried soon enough. And if they knew it was his child, they'll come after my family, he said. Karaya tilted her head. Do they know? No. My parents are off-world. I barely talk to them. And I'm all my uncle has. He's sick. He lives alone. She studied his face. You care for him? Eli nodded. He raised me after my dad died in the solar riots. Taught me to think for myself. Taught me never to turn my back on someone in need. Raya smiled gently. Then you are your father's son. That surprised him. How would you know what he was like? Because you saved me. And you didn't have to. They sat in silence for a while. The only sound was the wind outside and the occasional chirp of distant forest creatures. Then Raya looked up. Her glow began to return, just a little. There's something I must give you. A way to protect yourself. Eli raised a brow. What kind of protection? She reached inside the folds of her thin robe and pulled out a small crystal shard. It was black with a faint blue light pulsing inside. This is a shard of my core, she explained. A living memory of my people. If danger comes, it will shield you. Eli hesitated, then reached out and touched it. The moment his skin met the crystal, it pulsed bright blue and then vanished into his hand. Whoa, what the hell? It bonded with you, Raya said calmly. It knows your shape now. If your life is in danger, it will respond. Alilai flexed his hand. I didn't even feel it. You will, she said. When the time comes. They were interrupted by a soft beep from Eli's wrist. -. He checked it, and his heart dropped. University. Alert. Student Eli Graven missing. Considered at risk. Reward for info. Contact security immediately. His picture was already spreading across the network. They're looking for me now, he muttered. Raya's expression darkened. Then we have less time than I thought. We need to leave, Eli said, standing up. They'll track my uncle's land. Eventually, someone will notice I was here. Where will we go? She asked. Eli thought for a moment. There's an old satellite station in the northern ridge. Abandoned after the AI rebellion. No power grid, no surveillance. We can stay off radar there. Raya nodded and began to rise, but then paused. She placed both hands over her belly. What is it? Eli asked quickly. She looked up at him, eyes wide. It moved, Eli blinked. Already, yes, I felt it. It's alive. Eli didn't know what to say. Something inside him shifted. It wasn't fear now, it was real. This wasn't just a mission or an accident. This was a life. A life. Connected to him. Suddenly the silence outside broke. A drone whirred low over the treetops, scanning. A bright searchlight sliced across the forest. Eli grabbed his pack. We have to move, now. He helped Raya out of the floor, handed her a cloak to cover her glowing skin. And together, they slipped out the back door into the trees. As they ran into the cold morning light, Eli glanced back one last time at the cabin. Everything was changing, and they had no idea what was coming next. The air was colder in the north, sharper too. Eli's breath fogged as he helped Raya climb the rocks leading up to the abandoned satellite station. It stood like a silent metal giant, half swallowed by vines and rust. Its signal dish pointed upward, broken, covered in moss. Raya's steps were slower now. Her energy was fading again. We're almost there, Eli said, voice low but steady. She nodded silently, one hand pressed over her belly. Her glow was dim, but still present like a candle burning through thick fog. They entered the main structure through a broken service door. Inside, dust hung in the air. The walls hummed faintly from old solar batteries still trying to function. Eli quickly checked the rooms and secured the doors. The station's comms were fried, but that was good. No one could track them here. Raya sat down in a corner, exhausted. Eli brought her water and gently placed a blanket around her shoulders. You need rest, he said. She looked up at him. So do you. He smiled a little, though the pressure in his chest never left. His face was pale from stress, and his eyes showed it. She noticed. You are scared. He nodded. Of course. I am. The government wants us dead. You're carrying something no one understands. And I'm supposed to protect you. I don't even know how to protect myself. Karia touched his arm gently. Yet you stayed. Eli looked at her. Why do I feel like we were supposed to meet? She tilted her head. Because the bond isn't only physical. It links thought, emotion. What you feel, I begin to feel too. Do you feel the fear? He asked. Yes, she said softly. But I also feel your courage. They sat in silence for a while. Outside, wind howled. The station creaked like an old beast groaning in sleep. Then, without warning, Karia gasped sharply. Eli rushed to her side. What is it? She gripped his hand tightly, her body shaking. Her belly pulsed with a strange blue light. Her skin flared hot beneath his touch. It's growing faster now, she whispered. Too fast. What do I do? He asked, panicked. I don't know, she breathed. This isn't normal. My body is changing to keep up with the bond. He helped her lie down on a pile of old bedding. She clutched his hand the whole time, her eyes fluttering with pain. I need to transfer some of the energy back to you, she said. How? She placed his hand on her glowing abdomen. Eli's heart raced. He felt something throb beneath her skin, something alive, aware, and somehow connected to him. A pulse, a rhythm, the crystal she had given him earlier, the one absorbed into his body, responded. His hand glowed faintly blue. Then something strange happened. Eli felt the pain. Not exactly her pain, but a shared echo of it. Pressure in his head, heat in his chest. A rush of emotions, fear, strength, longing. It was overwhelming. He tried to pull away, but Karia whispered, stay, just a little longer. So he did, and slowly. The glow dimmed. Her breathing slowed. She looked up at him, sweat on her brow, but peace in her eyes. It worked. She said, what did? You helped me balance the energy. The bond is stronger now. Eli sat back, dizzy but breathing. This is insane, he muttered. You're turning me into something else. Karia studied him for a moment. No, I'm showing you what you already are. Suddenly, the power flickered. Eli stood quickly. That's not good. A distant ping echoed from the control room down the hall. He went to check and found an old scanner flickering with one working light. The screen showed movement. Heat signatures. At least 6, Karia, he said, rushing back. They're coming. She stood slowly. I'm ready. No, you're not, Eli said. You just almost collapsed. I can still fight if I must, she replied. Eli checked his backpack. 1 flare gun. 2 stims. No real weapons. He handed her a stim. You might need this. It's human tech. Just push it into your neck. It'll give you strength for a short time. Karia took it, studying it like a strange weapon. The scanner pinged again. Closer now. Whoever they were, they had found. The station. We can't run again, Eli whispered. We need to hide, or... He looked around the room. Then at the big satellite dish still sitting half-functional on the roof. I have an idea. Karia tilted her head. If I can power up the core dish, even for a few seconds, I might be able to send a pulse through the old frequency bands. Not to Earth, but beyond. Maybe someone from your people will hear it. Karia's expression changed. You would risk that? Eli nodded. We need help. Outside, the wind grew stronger. The enemy was close. Karia stood beside him, her body glowing faintly. Then let's try. Together, they moved toward the tower. What started as a simple school project had now become a fight for survival, and maybe the first signal of a new beginning. The satellite tower groaned as Eli climbed up the narrow stairs. Karia. Just behind him. Rust cracked under their feet, and cold wind whipped through the metal frame. At the top, the old control panel sat under a broken shield. Cables dangled, some burnt, some frayed, but a few still glowed faintly with reserve power. This Thing is older than I am, Eli muttered, wiping dust from the screen. Raya stepped beside him. Can you make it work? I can try. He powered up the backup battery. The screen flickered to life, showing a menu with scrambled alien and human text. It was an old hybrid station from the first Alliance years, meant to connect both species. In peace, long before any wars. Eli pulled a wire from his bag and connected it to his wrist. If I boost the signal and redirect the last pulse through a high-frequency channel. Korea touched his shoulder gently. Eli. He stopped. Looked at her. They're here, she whispered. Below, in the trees, 6 black armored soldiers moved through the forest with precision. Their helmets scanned heat, sound, movement. Their weapons were silent but deadly. Drones floated above them, casting beams of blue light through the dark. We have maybe 2 minutes, Eli said. If that. Korea reached for the stim Eli had given her earlier. She didn't hesitate. She pressed it into her neck. Her body flinched and her eyes glowed brighter. I'll hold them off, she said. You send the signal. You can't fight all of them. Eli hissed. I don't need to win, she replied. Just buy time. Before he could stop her, she disappeared down the stairs, her silver glow fading into the dark. Eli turned back to the panel. He navigated the menu quickly. Sweat ran down his face. His fingers shook. He didn't know if anyone was out there to hear this, but he had to try. He found a working frequency. A deep band signal hidden from modern scanners. One used during the original Pact era. Transmit. He hit yes. The machine hummed. A faint blue light surged through the old dish. Below, gunfire cracked through the night. Eli's heart dropped. He heard Karaya scream, but not in pain. It was a battle cry, fierce, inhuman, like something ancient had awakened in her. Then the screen flashed. Transmission sent, but the noise had drawn attention. 2 drones locked onto the tower and flew straight toward him. He ducked as one fired a stun blast. It missed but exploded against the side of the satellite. Sparks rained down. Eli jumped for cover. The metal stairs below were shaking. Soldiers were coming up fast. He looked for anything useful. A flare gun in his belt. He aimed, fired. The drone burst in a flash of light. The second one spun wildly, confused, and a silver blur shot up the stairs. Single quotes RIH. She struck the drone with a glowing palm, frying its circuits in a single touch. Eli blinked. You're faster. The stim works, she said, panting. But not for long. They had no time to celebrate. The soldiers had reached the base of the tower. Eli pulled her down beside the control panel. The signal's out. But I don't know if it reached anyone. Korea placed her hand over his chest. It did. I feel it. Eli frowned. How? She closed her eyes. They're coming. Suddenly, a piercing noise echoed across the sky. The clouds shifted. A ripple formed. High above them, like space itself had cracked, a sleek silver ship descended through the clouds, silent, fast, alien design. Not human, not government. Karaya stood slowly. Her body began to glow brighter. They heard you, she whispered. The soldiers below looked up, confused. Then afraid, the ship hovered over the tower, and a beam of soft white light surrounded Karaya. It lifted her gently, pulling her upward. Eli grabbed her hand. Wait, she looked down at him. You must come too. You are bonded now. If you stay, they will destroy you. Eli didn't let go, but before the beam could reach him, a sniper blast hit the tower. Metal cracked, and he slipped from her grip. Karaya screamed. He fell hard onto the deck. The beam around her pulled her higher, into the ship. The hatch closed. The ship vanished into the clouds, just as more soldiers reached the top. Eli lay there, bleeding from the shoulder, half conscious, cold. He had failed to hold on, and Karaya was gone. Eli didn't remember the next few hours. He faded in and out of consciousness, the cold pressing into his skin, the stars blurring above him. Soldiers surrounded the ruined satellite tower. He heard voices, boots, drones humming. But none dared come too close. His body glowed faintly blue, just like K-Rhea's. When he finally opened his eyes fully, he was lying in a white hospital-like room, but it wasn't Earth tech. The walls were smooth and pulsing with light. Strange symbols hovered in the air, moving gently like fog. He tried to sit up, but gentle hands stopped him. Single quotes RIH. She was alive. She sat beside him, glowing soft silver, her expression full of emotion. Her belly had grown slightly, just enough to show the life inside her was real and thriving. "You brought me back?" Eli whispered, confused. She nodded. "I never left you. The ship circled after extraction. We couldn't leave you behind. But I thought," his voice cracked. "You were gone." Kariah touched his cheek. "Our bond wouldn't let me leave you. When they shot you, your core flared. The shard inside you responded. It shielded your heart. It kept you alive until we reached you." Ali looked around. The walls shifted as if alive. A low hum filled the air. "Where are we?" "A sanctuary," she said, "hidden beyond human reach. My people created it long ago for emergencies. Only few remember it exists." He sat up slowly. "The baby?" Kariah smiled. "Safe, strong. A new life between two species. The first of its kind." Eli exhaled, still trying to process it all. "What happens now?" Kariah stood and walked to a panel that opened like a petal. Through it, Eli could see stars, bright, wide, and endless. A nebula glowed like a river of color in the distance. "My people debated for years what the pact truly meant," she said quietly. "Some feared it. Some wanted it erased. But now they see." She turned to him, her eyes shimmering. "You are the proof. That kindness can cross stars. That even a mistake like opening the wrong file can change everything." Eli stood beside her, still weak but steady. "So, I'm what? A father now?" She chuckled gently. "Yes, and much more." The room shifted again. Another figure entered, an elder alien, tall and regal, with markings down his face. He looked at Eli with deep, unreadable eyes. "You are now part of our future," he said. "The child you helped create holds not just life but balance. Human unpredictability and alien harmony joined at last." Eli looked at Kariah. "And what about Earth? They'll think I vanished, or died." Kariah stepped closer. "Let them, for now." He looked back at the stars. It was hard to believe everything had started from a simple homework assignment, but it had. A school project, a locked file, a girl thought dead. A touch. Now he was somewhere far from Earth, carrying the future of two worlds inside a child he didn't even mean to create, but would protect with his life. Kariah took his hand again, the same way she had the night they first touched. And this time, Eli didn't let go.